the progress I'm making in regaining my health, when I go to my doctor the 25th of June, I'm going to ask him if he thinks it would be all right for me to go for about 15 or 20 days back to West Virginia just to loaf with my children. If he says it's all right, and Mom, she says it's all right with her, I will go back with Ronnie on the 30th, stay with Ronnie about 4 or 5 days, then go down to Phyllis for 4 or 5 days, with Jimmy 4 or 5 days, go out to Chris's and spend 3 or 4 days, but I will not go to Cliff's this time because I was with him 5 days when I got sick. At the end of that time, if my vacation I think is over, I will board a plane in Columbus, Ohio, or Charleston, West Virginia for back home. Mom thinks it would be a good thing. In fact, I know it would be on her. She would get some rest because she continually keeps on the ball trying to make life easy for me. I don't believe that I'd be here today if it wasn't for Mom. Ronnie and Phyllis told me that both have more than one car and that I could have a car a few times to get around and see some of my friends. If I do, I want to go to Hamlin, West Virginia and spend a whole day visiting some of my friends of 60 and 65 years. I was born and raised in Hamlin. I also want to make one trip up 14 Mile Creek to visit with Hildred Adkins. She was a former student of mine and basketball player. Hildred was the best basketball player, best athlete, boy or girl, I ever had in 48 years of teaching. Since I became sick and my name was in the county paper, Hildred has written me letters begging me to come up and see her. If I make the trip back to Ronnie's, I hope the first week in July that Ronnie will let me have a car or he can go with me, and we will go. That'll be our first stop, will be Hildred and Ward Adkins. She sent me a letter today and a get well card, pictures of her grandchildren. They're real pretty, but Hildred was the best athlete even in county field days. She always took first place in every event she entered. When I went to Road Fork, those kids there, some of them had never seen a basketball. We had no basketball court, but Hildred, I'd had Hildred in school at Ranger. I knew she was number one when it came to basketball. We had a little basketball team, and when we went to the county tournament at Griffithville, we had to play Branson, a big graded school, for the championship. I told the other 4 girls, when you get the ball, just stand still. Look for Hildred. Give it to Hildred. That they did, because they didn't want them to walk with the ball, and they didn't know what to do with it anyhow. When they would give it to Hildred, she'd take off toward our basket. She would usually be met at the center line by the 2 big, tall Messinger girls or the 2 big Davidson girls. They would scrap it out, but usually Hildred would come out with the ball. We finally beat them, and in this particular tournament, there were 10 categories that an individual player could win a prize in. The prize was a silver dollar. There were 10 of these different categories. Hildred won. I got up about 5 a.m. this morning, cleaned up, and went to Dunkin' Donut about 7 a.m. I bought 2.5 dozen cream and jelly-filled donuts for a treat for the nurses that cared for me while I was in hospital May 7, May 19 for 13 days. They were all very glad to see me, and Harry Jordan was on duty. He hugged me. I think he is such a nice fellow. I ate oatmeal, had coffee, and I stayed about an hour. This treat today takes care of the July 7th treat, because if plans work out, I'll leave with Ronnie June 30 and won't return until about July the 20th. I plan on staying with my children as follows. Ronnie, 4 or 5 days. Phyllis, 4 or 5 days. Jimmy, 4 or 5 days. And Chris, 3 to 4 days. When I have visited all of them, I'll probably leave for Clearwater. I will not visit Cliff on this trip because I was with him for 5 days. Ronnie will be here June 28th on Thursday, but has to be back home Monday, July 2nd because of Naoma's work. Chris will be here Friday, June 29th, and wants to spend 2 nights in a motel with a pool on the beach so Karen and the kids can swim while Chris fishes. When Ronnie leaves, Chris and family will come to our house and stay with us the rest of his vacation. Very bad. Phyllis and Ronnie told me that they would see that I had a car to visit some of my friends. If plans work out, I hope to go to Ranger up 14 and visit Hildred Atkins, the whiz in basketball and field events that I had in school at Ranger and at Road Fork. She was the best athlete, boy or girl, I have ever had in the 48 years of teaching. I might eat dinner with her. I'll take my tapes, play them for her, some of the quartet songs, and maybe she might want to do some taping. So, that is my first trip out of Huntington or Point Pleasant if I make the trip. She saw my name and address in the county paper, and she has written me at least 2 letters, sent me get well cards, and she is the best athlete I have ever seen, girl or boy, in 48 years of teaching in the elementary school. She has begged me to come up if possibly can. When I was teaching at Road Fork, a family living above the school, one of the boys told me they had a nanny goat when I told them about Wilkie. The little boy said his daddy said he'd like for me to bring Wilkie up to the school and let him borrow him for a few days to breed his nanny goat. I said I'd do it. On this particular morning, I put Wilkie in my car and went to school. The kids, having no playground, went up on the hill near the school and cut out a track to ride sleds down. They would come real fast. The boys made a bobsled, and at least 10 could ride it at the same time. Wilkie heard them when he got out of the car. He went up in the bushes and was standing with front feet on a big rock near the track, and as the sled came down, about 10 kids on it, he jumped at them and they ran in the schoolhouse and Wilkie right after them. They took off through the bushes, scattered. They got on top of the desk, scared to death. Wilkie was rushing around, butting their desks. I calmed him down. Wait a minute, Mommy. Sit right over there. I'll leave you in. That evening, I let the little boy take him home to breed his nanny goat. That was the last time I saw Wilkie. I asked the boy how was Wilkie and his new girlfriend making it. He said they hadn't seen Wilkie for a few days, and that his daddy said he believed Wilkie had got killed or had run away. But I have always believed that they killed him and ate him. On this tape you're getting, I tell of some of our experiences as you were growing up at Midkill. Cliff, Toby sent me a picture of my mother in Bowling. It's real good. I am having one made for each of you kids. It will be a picture of your grandmother for me and a picture of your mother. Mom, Inez, is the best nurse in the world. She does everything to help me out. She sees that I take my medicine on time, my machines, and waits on me hand and foot. I know she gets awfully tired, so we talked it over, and she said she didn't mind if I wanted to go to West Virginia. It would give her a chance to rest. She said she'd stay home, take care of everything, and pay the bills. I'll take my respirator, portable oxygen tank, tape recorder, and camera. I want to take lots of pictures while I'm there. People, scenes, so forth. I am looking forward to this trip. Sunday, Father's Day, we had a cookout. Salad, cake, and ice cream and cold drinks. Very good. Wish you folks could have been here with us. We took some pictures, and when I get them back this week, if there's any of them good of me, I will see that you get one. Cliff, I want to read you a Father's Day poem. Give Daddy a Home, written by Mrs. G.L. Fleming. The funeral was over. The crowd had dispersed. The house seemed so sad and so lone. To the heartbroken old man who had gone to sleep, weeping for the wife who had just gone. Downstairs the children assembled themselves to determine if they could who'd keep the old man left all alone, but it seemed that none of them would. Who will keep Daddy? One of them moaned. Now the darling mother has gone. He's getting old and feeble too. We can't leave him here alone. I'm not strong enough to take care of him, his favorite Ella said. I'm just so weak. With a new baby too, I myself would soon be dead. Well, young Jim answered, I wouldn't care to take him home with me, but my wife wouldn't want her friends to see him. They're all in high society. Ned stood with a solemn look on his face. Our house is quite small, said he. Scarcely room for my wife and myself and our growing children 3. The youngest wept. My husband told me not to bring him back to our place. He's a candidate for judge this year. Dad's presence might enter the race. Then Thrifty Rose cried, I can't keep him. I have to work every day. Of course, she added, my husband works too, but I sure need the extra pay. The youngest boy said I could take him if it wasn't that my young wife always goes out for parties and fun. Dad's presence would just spoil her life. 3 boys and 3 girls whom the old man loved had sacrificed that they may be fed and get all the education he could afford, but he heard not a word that they said. They argued and fussed till they were quite mad, and only one thing could agree. They would send Daddy away to a home and each pay 1/6 of the fee. God in tender mercy, hearing all, sent the death angel from above, taking the spirit of the sleeping old man to join that of the wife he did love. They went